challenge you expect from you both. You'll obey my instructions at all times. Tell you break clean. Defend yourselves at all times. And best of luck to you both. Touch gloves. Well done, lads.
Seconds out, round one.
Scheduled for 6 rounds made at cruiserweight. Travis Dickinson of Berkeley in the northeast in the black and silver against John Anthony of Doncaster. Very much a veteran these days, Anthony, 37 years old, but tends to go the distance against decent opponents. That'll be interesting to see if Dickinson can get him out quickly, because he's got a reputation, Dickinson, and it's growing. And if he can put John Anthony on his backside, that really will be making a statement.
Yeah, he was sensational in his last contest, wasn't he, against Paul David. Knocked him out in the first round, did Travis Dickinson. And yeah, I like his style. Got a good guard, good technique, and he can bang as well. So, but this fella, Anthony, doesn't get stopped, does he, very often? So, only been stopped 2 or 3 times in his career. So yeah, he's got a good chin. This will be a good test for Travis Dickinson.
There's Dickinson, we saw him winning prize fighter, and then you mentioned the Paul David fight, which we saw in Aberdeen last month. We expected that one to be a distance fight, because David's a good survivor as well. He just wiped him out in a round, and it was his first appearance in 13 months. He says he had a back injury. The word out of his gym is that he's one of those guys, if he was a racehorse, you put blinkers on him, because he does get distracted. But if he ever starts putting application with his talent, he will be quite a force in this division. But struggling to find his range at the moment, with the slippery John Anthony in front of him.
Anthony's movement, he's just troubling Dickinson at this early stage. Then he's just finding it difficult just to pin his man down with that jab of his. But Anthony's he's opted to move around his opponent, keep moving. And the power that Dickinson's got, I don't think that's such a bad option.
It's smart from the veteran, blocking a lot of those straight jabs as well, and getting in first on occasion as he did there. And good upper body movement again, keeping him out of trouble. And Dickinson really needs to retune the rangefinder here at the moment. He's just out of range at the moment. Again, that one's going around the back of the head. Really difficult for him to land anything cleanly at the moment.
What's important for Dickinson tonight here, Nick, is getting his timing correct. He's got a man who's moving all over the place, and yes, Dickinson is struggling slightly to find his range, but so he's got to make sure his timing is on form here tonight as his opponent's coming in.
Again, finding it tough to get anything as his opponent, John Anthony, just kind of lunged in and missed, but then just ducked down, clung to his opponent's body, so there was nothing for Travis Dickinson to take advantage of. Real cagey first round, neither man scoring with any great frequency. Trying to left downstairs Anthony there. Or right hand, excuse me, right on the bell. But a tough old round, that one, for both of them.
Keep working the box and it'll come. It'll come. Watch that wild swing. Yep. You he throws that daft shot, he's going to leave himself open. Yeah. Keep pushing it. Right, work that fast jab, a little bit thinly, right until you get the range. Get that range, and it's yours now. And it's yours. Good first round. Keep an eye on him, alright.
Yeah, well, first round.
What? Yeah, you were alright there, Get your range, you were alright there. Come on, pick it right up. Suck it right up. Suck it right up.
Well, they're fairly happy in that corner, aren't they? It was a pretty scrappy round, I thought, but I thought he did enough to win the round. There wasn't a lot landed. His trainer there, Ronnie Rowe, knows that he's got to find his range a little bit better, get those feet into range, as he just said. Well, yeah, he's just got to relax a little bit more.
Seconds out, round two.
Round two for 2 men on a mission. Travis Dickinson from Berkeley has got a shot at the English title against Bob Adjusaf in May. That's on the David Price Sam Sexton undercard. That's one to look forward to. And John Anthony's got a next 2 fights lined up. He's got a couple of fights lined up in April. He's one of those guys who keeps his shorts and his gloves and his boots packed, ready for all eventualities. You heard, as you say there, Richie, Ronnie Rowe in Travis Dickinson's corner just saying, just relax and it'll come. He did look a little bit tight, and the timing well off in that first round, but credit Anthony for making it difficult for him.
The shot he should be throwing as well here, Nick, Dickinson, is the right uppercut. Because what's happening here is Anthony, the way he's coming in with his head very, very low, looking to land probably a right hand over the top, but he'll definitely walk onto a right uppercut.
Well, let's see if Dickinson can work that one out. Brother John Lewis has a British title eliminator coming up against Matty Askin. It's another one to look forward to. Could be a very busy year for the Dickinson brothers. Well, when you look at the list of opponents that John Anthony's got on his card, former British and Commonwealth light heavyweight champ Neil Simpson, former British cruiserweight champ Leon Williams. Fighters like that, Matty Askin, Danny Price, who's a real up-and-comer, they all went the distance with John Anthony, and it's not hard to see why.
Yeah, he's a difficult man to actually land a shot on. He's in and out with his style, that's a little bit better. He needed a left uppercut or a left hook there from Dickinson also. But yeah, he is difficult to actually nail with a good clean shot. Always on the move, awkward as he's coming in, holds on the inside. Yeah, but now he's open to that right uppercut. That's when he should be going in.
Forgot to mention his list of opponents. John Lewis Dickinson as well, Travis's brother. Guess what? That one went the distance as well. Real cagey stuff here, because Dickinson doesn't want to overcommit. Anthony's playing it safety first, looking for the odd counter here and there.
Yeah, what you've got to do against someone like Anthony, who's waiting all the time, who sometimes just won't come forward, you've got to try and trigger him off. That's when you've got to call on your feints to trigger your man, to make him to come forward, to bring him onto the punches.
Anthony missing wildly and getting caught with a right hand. And again, Dickinson finding it hard to land anything really clean, and again a big swinging over the top right hand from Dickinson that just doesn't really bother anything except the back of his opponent's head. Winning the round, but this is tough going for Travis Dickinson.
When he dips down, just that step across.
37 years old, John Anthony, but really does keep himself in terrific shape. Always ready to rumble. Got Dave Hulley in his corner.
Listen, jabbing in, then you're pulling down like that, and he's hitting you as you're pulling down. You've got to follow through.
I can't argue with that advice.
And send right hand straight through then. Don't keep pulling out, because he's just hitting you as you're bending down.
Yeah, he's hitting with 2 or 3 shots, then moving off, starting to go.
Get your hands up.
Yeah, I think he's coached there. He's talking about obviously follow through with the jab, maybe get a little bit closer to his opponent. Because you've got to remember, Travis Dickinson is fairly tall, rangy sort of fighter. On the inside, it might not be as good.
Round 3 then, Travis Dickinson in the black and silver up against John Anthony. He was told by his trainer, Dave Hulley, you've got to get in there and follow through. Dave Hulley works so well with Steffi Bull in Jamie McDonald's corner as they try and look to build him towards a world title fight. The best will in the world. I don't think John Anthony's in that class yet, but he can certainly make life difficult for opponents, and he too's got an area title fight coming up as well, so he certainly won't want to be taking any chances here. Maybe he's protecting his interests in that fight.
Yeah, this is a scrappy sort of fight, but 2 boxers here with 2 different agendas, Nick. You've got one, Travis Dickinson's got to maintain the gap here against this opponent, and the other, Anthony, he's got to get up close, smother his opponent, make it all rough and awkward on the inside. See, that's better boxing from Dickinson because he's maintaining that gap.
And again, through with another right hand. Anthony just sort of flicking out, and then his range is off again as he tried to land a couple of left jabs, followed up with an over-the-top right. None of them landed. John Latham, our referee, just trying to wind them both up a little bit, get this thing going, because it hasn't taken off at all. Styles make fights. These styles just not meshing at all at the moment.
Well, Dickinson in his career has been very impressive up to now, but this is a different type of challenge, most certainly. Very awkward opponent in front of him, and he's got to find the way through. And I keep harping on about it, but I just wish he would throw the right uppercut. He might be able to hit the opponent then.
Haven't seen him attempt one, have we, Richie?
No,
yet?
not yet. But Anthony, if anything, you know, he's doing his job. He's being very awkward. He's making things very difficult because he hasn't got the boxing skills that Travis Dickinson has got. But he is rough and ready, and he's doing his job on the inside there.
Well, whenever you get an opponent like this, like John Anthony, and there's so many of them around the British game, good survivors, guys who know how to look after themselves, you've got to knock them out of their comfort zone. Now, that straight left might have just helped a little bit from Dickinson. Decent shot got through there.
Right, lads, break, no punches.
And Nick, what Dickinson's got to do now is, after he's landed those decent shot here and there, is maybe take half a step backwards instead of forward. He's getting just tied up on the inside just to maintain the gap. That's better boxing, look, but when he comes close to you and he grabs you, it's very difficult to punch then.
Great excitement as a half-decent right hand landed, but Dickinson must have thrown 8 or 9 punches there, and it was only the one that got through cleanly. As Anthony continues to bob and weave, getting a little bit more consistent success now, though, the man from the northeast. It's not exactly an avalanche of punches coming at Anthony now, but enough is getting through that will give Dickinson a chance to try and build on something here for the second half of this fight. Ooh, right on the bell. Anthony landed a decent right hand himself as well.
Still in main range there. Watch for that backhand over the top there. Okay. Everything else is good. Okay. Didn't need to get yourself dragged in a fight. Right. Good boxing. Okay.
I think this was the best round from Travis Dickinson in terms of his boxing ability that he showed, maintaining the gap, good right hand there, and then he just doesn't go lunging in, does he? Just maintains that gap, which is a better option, and there, good right hand there. So there was a better boxing from Dickinson in that round. Lovely straight left jab there. That was a super punch from Dickinson, but the right one was inaccurate there.
I'm coming in with just making that a bit easy for him.
Push it out, take it out. Is it what?
Put it back. I've got water now.
Well, Dave Harley knows the limitations he's working with. He's not going to ask his man to do anything he's not capable of doing. Well, it has to be said.
Out, round 4.
Through 3 rounds, John Anthony really hasn't been in any great difficulty at all. Why are we not surprised? Round 4 then, of this scheduled 6-rounder. I guess the expectation is raised when you have the kind of win that we saw in Aberdeen last month against Paul David, who we did not expect to see wiped out inside a round. Travis Dickinson really catching the eye there. 13 months after winning prize fighter. That's a little bit better from Dickinson. We expected a bit more of the same, I think, tonight, and there's a little bit of frustration, I'm sure, that he feels as well, that he's not able to tag this man cleanly and consistently.
Well, it's a good learning fight for him, Nick. Probably more psychologically than physically. You know, he's got to learn to relax a little bit more, be patient, and start working his man out, which he is doing now. As this fight's going on, he's boxing a lot better now, Travis Dickinson.
Well, it wasn't that long ago that we saw John Anthony going the distance with Danny Price, who's a real future superstar in this division. Price had to show some patience. Price had been knocking him over like 10 pins up until meeting Anthony. And patience is one of those traits that a boxer needs to put in his arsenal. But you'd like to see him move through the gears a little bit here and just maybe ask some questions of Anthony. But again, he throw some punches, nothing's going on.
You see, he's throwing the jab, but he's constantly missing with that right hand, Travis Dickinson. He's going over the head of Anthony, and he's just got to maybe throw it at a different angle, maybe as an uppercut. certainly just maintain the gap all the time rather than going forward after that double jab. Maybe just a pause in his work just to maintain the gap so he can punch a little bit more. Tell you what, he got caught with one coming in there. That wasn't a bad shot at all from Anthony.
He's lucky Anthony doesn't have a reputation as a big puncher. That's a couple of times Anthony's landed cleanly.
That's woke him up a little bit there. That's better work.
Keeping that guard nice and high.
Better, crisper jabs there from Dickinson.
But again, the
there you go.
with the right hand, it's not there, Richie. He just can't find it. It's a good point you made there earlier, Richie, that he's not varying the point of attack. Anthony knows exactly where that right hand is coming and can take the necessary action to block it or avoid it. Now that switched the point of attack. Went downstairs right on the bell with the right hand and got a result.
It was a lot better finish to the round there for Dickinson. Started to find his range and his rhythm with that right hand. Landed to the body there with a good shot.
Come on, work him in the body when you've got him there. That's 4, come on. 2 more. Come on, sock it right up. Sock it right up.
Ronnie Rowe, his coach, has been with him since the amateur days. Knows his boxer very, very well indeed. Well, the right hand was a bit of an issue here for Travis Dickinson. Every so often they got through, like that one there, and one to the body on the bell, but it's probably 1 or 2 out of 10 at the most getting through.
Yeah, he certainly missed with more than he actually landed in that round. But good signs rather towards the end of the round, started to find his range, especially to the body with the right hand as well.
Corners 10 seconds.
He's all very, very you don't want to knock him out. That's why.
Seconds out. Round 5.
Round 5, Travis Dickinson comes out probably having won all 4 of the first rounds without ever actually really impressing, and his cornermen saying to him he's very, very awkward, this John Anthony. I think Travis Dickinson knows that from personal experience of what's happened in the last 4 rounds, and Anthony is still continuing to stay active, stay busy, stay out of trouble. Can Dickinson find enough right hands to wear him down, slow him down and open him up? Doesn't hurt to be brought back down to earth. I mean, the Paul David win last month was sensational and he was literally jumping for joy. He was so happy, so excited. This will just bring his feet back down to ground.
Definitely, we're talking of a boxer who's only this is his 12th contest. He's doing very well, he's winning, he's beating everyone that's put in front of him, but he hasn't gone past 6 rounds yet, so he's not moved on to any 8-round contests yet, and he's learning his trade, and this is another learning curve for him. Good shot to the body, so he's changed, hasn't he, with the angle of the shot there. He's starting to whip that right hand downstairs. He's finding some success with it.
And that will force Anthony to make adjustments if that carries on consistently. Yeah, he landed a decent one right on the bell on the last round. Followed it up here. And it's smart strategy because Anthony's just blocking virtually everything upstairs. And then once again, at the slightest whiff of danger, Anthony clams up.
This is where he's got to take this step back and try and get away from his man, create that gap. But he's got to use his jab a lot more here, Nick, as well, to set his opponent up. Look, he's getting a little bit scrappy. The referee's having to bring them together, having a talk. You've got to use his jab a little bit more to set himself up with that right hand. That was a better punch.
Anthony landed a right hand over the top himself, and again it was a decent right hand downstairs from Dickinson. Another right hand to the body. Anthony taking them all pretty comfortably, it seems. But you mentioned his inexperience. It's a fair point, Rich, and I guess the expectations do get raised too high, as you say. Still very much a baby. This only his 12th fight, and of the 11, I mean, 3 of those were prize fighter wins as well.
Yep.
So this is not a young man with a lot of miles on his clock.
need to see probably the left hook being brought in as well from Dickinson. Good right hand again from him there. That was a super punch. See, he's not happy though, Dickinson. He's complaining a little bit because he knows that Anthony's he's grabbing him and holding him. But that's up to him to sort that out as well, Nick. He's got to have the brains then to step back and create the gap.
Any young boxer, young unbeaten boxer, he wants to look good. And even though he's winning, Travis Dickinson must know he's not looking great tonight. Put that down to John Anthony. Well, he's upped the body shots a little bit in the last couple of rounds, quite significantly.
Yeah, all straight right hands to the body as well from Dickinson. Some good work from him in that round. There's an example of that. That was a lovely shot, wasn't it? Right hand to the body. And again, super little short range shot, if you like. Downstairs, again. Right hand, and then he switches. Moving to the head. Well, a good round from Dickinson.
Nice sharp shot. He's got one chance, and that's a big backhand over the top. You've got to watch for that. Right, the rest of it is yours. With all the skills, okay, try not to fall into the shots. Right, okay.
Corners 10 seconds.
Well, every round, finish it off.
Come on. When you orbit fella like that. Come on.
Seconds out for the 6th and final round.
Travis Dickinson in the silver and black, pitching a shutout here in this 6th rounder against John Anthony. He would love to get a stoppage here. Not much evidence that one is coming from the first 5 rounds. And it looks like Travis Dickinson is going to join a very long list of useful cruisers and light heavies that fail to stop John Anthony. Good learning experience for him nonetheless. And it's interesting to see the kind of adjustments that he's made as the fight's gone on. He hasn't just become one-dimensional and frustrated. He's looked to try and find other things to work.
But for the first 3 rounds, he was throwing that straight right that was just kept going, sailing over the head, didn't it, of John Anthony. Now he's switched it, he keeps throwing it to the body. He's being more successful with that shot. But that's what I'd like to see more of, those jabs and setting himself up behind that right, for that right hand. Oh, good shot again. Good punch.
A single shot again though. He's never really been able to follow up with these right hands to the body, even though he's tried. Got through with the right hand upstairs, but again tries to follow up. Anthony won't have it.
And again, he's not listening to his coach there, is he? We just heard his coach Ronnie Rowe in the corner say, try not to fall in after you've landed shots, and that's what he's doing there. Landing with some good punches, but falling in on his opponent.
And again, looking to the referee, Travis Dickinson, looking to John Latham and having a bit of a whinge. Never saw any of those uppercuts that you were suggesting, Richie.
No, well, that's what he's lacked here tonight. I would expect they'd go back and maybe work on that.
Oh, that real high you as his trainer.
Well, Ronnie Rowe is a former England international coach as well as an amateur. Very good coach indeed. I'm sure they'll sort that out.
A couple of good straight left jabs from Dickinson here. But he'll go back and have a chat with big brother John Lewis and say, well, I see what you mean about this, John Anthony. You couldn't stop him, and I couldn't either. Welcome to the club. It's a big club.
He's probably won every round here, Nick, but he hasn't looked that impressive. It's been a frustrating night, if anything. But you have to give credit to John Anthony. Very awkward, very tough customer.
I mean, the big scheme of things, you've already said this, Richie, young fighters need learning experiences when it doesn't all go their way.
Exactly, yeah. And this is a good learning fight for him.
Oh, he walked onto a right hand there. Now, the last few seconds of the fight, John Anthony landed a big right hook, and Dickinson felt that one. No wonder he was holding. That was some punch from Anthony. Now, if he'd thrown that a couple of rounds ago, who knows?
Yeah, Anthony just throwing caution to the wind there, isn't he? Just having a go. Catches his man with a big right hand.
Well, it'd been the best punch of the fight. But it was probably his only success. Yeah, John Latham raising the arm of Travis Dickinson. The only question being, did he win by a shutout? Or maybe